Hi everyone, welcome to Automation X channel by Sai Kiran. So today we'll be talking about collection variables. So first of all, I'll be creating one data type of collection variable, which is array variable. So I'll be just creating a variable array var. So I'll be selecting the type. It is of string type. So I'll just click on OK. So you can see that the type is like array of strings. So I'll be using assign so that I'll be just assigning the values to my array variable here. Okay. So that should be in the flower brackets and it went in between the double quotes. So just creating the items here. So there's like automation X, Kiran, Sai. Okay, so these were the three items I just want to create. So I'll be just using a message box to get the count of the array variable here. So basically it's like array variable dot count dot to string will just give me values. Also I'll just want to print the first item here. So here in the array variable, the index starts from 0. So since we have like three elements, like it was like 0, 1, and 2. So now I just want to print the first element. So I need to just go with array variable of index. So that is what I'm trying to do. I want to just print it in the new line. I'll go with like environment.new line. So that I'll be getting this message, the same message box in the new line. So I'll just go with array variable of 0 just to print first item inside my array variable. So I'll just run the file so that I'll be getting the count as well as the first item inside my array variable. So we have got like three items. That was a count. Automation X is the first element, right? So I just want to disable this activity and I want to print all the elements inside your array variable. So for that, I'll be using for each. So for each, I'll say like the array variable. So I just want to print each item here. So I'll drag and drop the message box. I'll drag and drop the message box here and say like current item is the item I want to print. So as we seen that in the for each, I'll be just passing the array variable and in the body, I'll be just passing the message box to print the current item. So let's say that like here we have only three items. All the three items will be printed accordingly. So first thing is like automation X. Second item is like Kiran. Third item is Sai. Okay. So this is what we can do basically on the array variable. So I'll be just creating a new flowchart where I'll be discussing about the list variable. So list variable. So I'll be just creating a variable here, type list string. So list var, and I'll be just selecting for the types here. It should be system.collections.generic.list. You can just browse for the types here. So system dot collections dot generic dot list. So under the list, you'll select like what is the type you want to just store under. So once you like select it automatically reflects the variable type is list of string. Now I want to assign the values to this particular variable. So under the list var, so I just want to assign the values. We have a syntax here. So we'll go with like new list of string from. We need to provide the values. So here I'm just providing the values like automation X, Kiran, automation X1. Okay. So what is the difference between array variable and list variable? Basically, the size of array variable is fixed, but size of list variable is dynamic and all. So that is a major difference why we'll try to use like array variable and list variable. So it's both the collection of similar data type elements. So the same message box I'll be using to just print the list count and all. So list count, list variable dot count. Okay. So it will basically give you like 3 as an outcome. Similar way, like if you want to get the first item, so you want to go with like a list variable of index. So which will give you automatically the things what you want to actually work with. So we have got a response of 3 where it will say the item is the count is like basically 3. So I'll just disable the activity. So I want to print all the elements inside the list variable. So I'll be just going the for each. So in the for each, I'll be just passing my list variable. Okay. So I'm just using the same thing. I'll be passing a list variable, and in the message box, I'll be just passing the current item here. Okay. So let me just execute where I'll be having these things done. I will get all the elements printed here for the list variable. First thing is automation X. Second item is like Kiran. Third item is automation X1. Okay. So now we'll see other different type of actions you can perform on the collections variable here. So we can add items to collection. So for that, I'll be just using append items to collection. Okay, so I'll be just disabling this activity, enable the activity. I'll use append items to collection. What append items to collection will basically do, it will just we just need to provide in which variable you want to add, the list variable I want to add, and in where you want to add the items and all. Basically, I want to add other values like Kiran1. So I'll want to add other items called Kiran2. Okay, so I'll just click on save. Okay, so if we can see here, I have like 3 items here, but after I'm just adding other 2 items. So basically the count should be increased. So that is what my intention of using append items to the collection. We can add items to the collection, right? So first message box will be giving me like 5 as a 3 as a response, and second message box will give me the count is like 5. The first message box count is like 3 because like it has 3 elements or 3 items. But after add append items to collection, we have like 5 items inside this thing. Okay, so that is one thing. So other thing we'll try to discuss is about a filter collection, which is a new activity. So we can also filter items in the collection. So what I'll do, I'll just use this filter collection to filter in the collection of list variable. Okay. So I just want to filter action, either you can remove or like keep matching items. I'll just keep the matching items here. And also you can just select the filter here. So in this particular filter, you can just select the color type, current item. I'll set contains. So we have three items, right? Automation X, Automation X1, and Kiran. So what I'll say, if you have automation in your item, so I just want to go with those items. So basically, it will just give me two items as an outcome rather than like three items. So this is what the properties here, where you want to store this item after the collection. So I'll just use this for each item to just print all the items inside your for each. So instead of printing three elements, it will just print you only two elements. Okay. So your outcome is basically you're storing it in the list variable itself. Fine. So let's save this thing on the file. So earlier it was like having three elements, but if you can see after the filter, it will only print two elements. So automation X and automation X1, but it was not printing Kiran because it was not having the particular item to just filter the things in. It's as per the filter. So whatever it contains, automation keyword, it was just try to store those things. Okay. So that is one of the activity that was recently added. So we can also see collection to a data table. So I'll just hit side for ease of doing. So what I'll do, I'll just see if it was existing in a collection or not, so, which will give me an outcome of Boolean. So if that particular item exists, it will just show me. So list variable. So I'm trying to search for a keyword called Kiran. That's like I'll go with automation X only. Automation X. Okay. So your basic outcome exists. It will go with the Boolean variable here and exist. So I'll just use a message box to see if that item was existing or not. So BLN exist. Okay. So if it was existing, it will just show me true. If it was not existing, it will just show me false. So I'm just trying to search for value called Sai. Okay. So let me just try to run the file. Basically, it was not like it was not existing, so it will just give me like false as an outcome. So it was false. So I'll try to search for like item Kiran, or else like I'll search for item called automation X. Automation X. So it will say that that particular item exists. Okay. So let me try to run file. The outcome will basically be true. So it is true, right? So that is what we can do with existing collection. So I've seen collection exist, filter collection, merge collection will actually combine two collections into one collection. So you can combine multiple collections into single collection. So remove from collection is basically you're trying to remove the collection items from the collection. So let's see like what happens in collection to data table, where you're converting actually a collection, a list variable to a data table. Yeah. So your input is list variable. So if you can see in the output properties, basically it will try to store it in the data table. I'll go with like pt1. Okay. So that is what it does basically. So how many rows we have basically? Since we have like 3 items, it is like 3 rows of data, right? So I'll be just using a message box to print the number of rows in a particular data table. So if it is converted only, we can just get the rows count. So dt1 dot rows dot count. Okay. So let me just try to run the file. So it says like 3 rows were existing, right? That is what we can do with the collection of data table. So I'll just go with a similar activity which we are actually using, which is a collection. So before that, I'll just try to create 2 collections and just combine those 2 collections. So I'll just create list var1 and I'll just modify the elements inside the list var1. I'll say like it is automation x1, or else like I'll go with automation x11, Kiran 11, and automation x12. Okay. Make sure that you're trying to convert your list var1 a list variable. Okay. So now the error will be going. I'll be using merge collection so that it will just merge into a single collection. So basically you need to provide so which collection you want to add. List var want to combine with list var1. And finally, I just want to store the value in a new variable control K list var2. Okay. So now what I'll do, use a message box to see the count of a list var2. So basically this has like 3 items and this has like 3 items. The combination of merge collections will be 6 items. So list var 2 dot count will basically give me the count of the merged collection, which is basically 6. Right. So that is what we can do with activities related to a list. That is nothing but appending, deleting, existing. Our check will try to see whether an item exists in a collection or not. A merged collection, combining 2 collections. So convert your collection, nothing but a list variable to a data table. So these were the new activities that was introduced and all. So happy automation. Thank you.